Today we'll be installing a new crankcase heater for this compressor. Remove all the screws, which I have already done all the way around. We'll continue by turning off the power at the disconnect and removing this old crankcase heater. We just cut that old wire. So this is a 240 volt system, so one of the wires comes from this switch, the other one goes directly to T2, and we'll also need to disconnect this ground wire. The old crankcase heater is removed. Okay, we got our new crankcase heater, and we're just going to wrap it around this base of this compressor as securely as possible, because you want the heater to be pretty flat against the compressor body. We also want to make sure that this heating element heater itself is not laying over itself. It will have a tendency or a chance of rubbing out and shorting out. So let's feed these wires through to the electrical panel side. Let's move this over just a tad bit more, like so. And tighten that up. So the heating element, heater itself is not laying on top of itself, and just a zip tie is going across it. Okay, make sure that this is tight. Okay, delete this. Come on. Okay, that should be good. Clip that off. That is installed. Next, we just need to wire it back in. And we have our connectors here and our ground. I'll start by installing the ground. Strip this back just a tad bit more. Just like so. Twist the wire so the strands stay together. I always like to crimp on this flat part, not this puncture part, because it has a tendency to break through the connector insulation. I've never had an issue so far with it coming loose or undone doing it that way. Let's install this back in. Let's get our main ground like so, and our heater ground like so. And I'll just tighten this all down. You don't want to crank on it too much. Make sure all these forks are staying in. Okay, that should be good. Alright, next, power. Also strip this back just a tad bit. Okay, crimp it real good. Alright, so one side is going to go to T2 connection, and the other is going to go to normally closed part of the marker switch. Normally closed when it's not energized or engages, because when the compressor turns off you want the heater on. You don't need the heater running when the compressor is running, because compressor produces its own heat from the motor as it runs. So just on off cycles when you want the heater to be running. Now, before we power it on, we're gonna do amp test just to make sure this heater is gonna work. All right. So when we power it on, it should not be pulling amperage. Okay. So now if we put this unit into defrost, we'll be able to see that the heater gets amperage, pulls amperage. And it does. It looks to be working. It's pulling. Started at 1 amp, now it's at 0.5. So it seems to be working good. That is good news. Okay, we're gonna take it out of defrost and let it keep working. That's it. That's all there's to it. You definitely want to make sure it's working before you leave. Sometimes that micro switch could be bad, or the contactor itself could be bad. Let's set the proper time on the defrost. It is 9:12. That's midnight. Yep, we are in AM. So we're just past. So it's 9. About right there. The proper setting. And that's it. We can close this back up. And that is it. Unit's put back together. Operational. Make sure you put everything back together like you found it, or better.